Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Welcome to this week's reading. Of course, you know me as the Shadow Seeker, and we are going to be doing the weekly reading for what it is you need to know and what it is you need to hear. And I feel so guided to do this reading by starting out to see where we are currently right now at the present moment. So I will be drawing a tarot card and we are going to be detailing where we are energetically speaking, spiritually, even physically, where we are in the present moment of you hearing this. I really feel like this reading is going to be profound for someone very special in the collective or for a special few in the collective. So only please take what does resonate and leave the rest for others. And with that said, I will be drawing that card to see where we are right now. Okay, so I can already tell this is going to be a special reading because the card that came out that represents the collective energy right now is the Six of Wands in the upright position. This is such a beautiful card. You know, it can be very beautiful. And I'm really am feeling a lot of positive energy around this card because it really feels like right now, collectively speaking, that we are no longer in the shadow of a trial, that a light has been shed. It's like a light of triumph, and it's here. And it's showing that, this is like a checkpoint of mastery, is what it feels like, because we went through so many different trials of isolation, heavy burdens, karmic ties, old ties, detaching from illusion, recognizing certain wounds. So this is like recognition here from spirit saying that we didn't, just survive, the purging of all that, that we really rose from it, that whatever felt like exile, has now transformed into a sense of triumph. And see, this really is a card of recognition and victory, especially when it comes to like, public, recognition. But the interesting thing about this deck, and again, I'm using the Wise Spell deck from Amazon, but this particular deck is really unique because for this particular card, usually the Six of Wands has a group of people kind of congregating, recognizing somebody and celebrating their victory and triumph. So it's like a public recognition, but it's really interesting because you don't see any other people in this particular card. You really are seeing this person riding this horse, really sort of celebrating themselves in a sense. Although there are some hands in the background, but you don't actually see any other people. So this really feels more internal. It really feels like an internal acknowledgement of overcoming a lot of these past struggles, and so it's like you're taking that public recognition, but you're really, you know, shifting that inwards. You're really looking at yourself and seeing what you really have overcame. You're recognizing your worth and you're really carrying your personal victories with a sense of dignity. And, this card really does sometimes talk about ego, but I'm not really sensing, a strong egoic type of energy with this particular card. But it is kind of funny that I say that because I do actually feel a shadow element with this card, but it feels like it's almost not present. It feels like it's sort of lingering. So this could be like a lingering karmic wound of some sort. I really feel like I need to draw some more cards, to kind of tap into that particular energetic field or thread that I'm really sensing right now that's coming up here. Okay, so we have the longing card, and it came out in the reverse position. So this is really interesting because I usually don't read my oracle cards in the reverse position. And it's really because they don't come out. But because this clearly came out inverted, I feel like I have to read this energy in the reverse position. But the card says, "Missing you, let's talk reunion." And so upright, this card in this particular position, the energy that I'm feeling is that we would be talking about desire for reconnection, nostalgia, or an urge to really close distance with someone. But see, with this being reversed, and we're talking about the shadow elements here of this Six of Wands energy, this thread of energy I'm feeling, it really feels like this unhealthy attachment or clinging to the idea of someone or something from the past that is really no longer in alignment for you. It's like a warning from spirit against slipping into fantasy or chasing an old cycle, something that spirit is really kind of urging you to detach from. So, this could be like a lingering karmic echo or something that hasn't been fully released. And really, this energy of whatever has not been released, either from this person that we're speaking of or the energy dynamic that we're speaking of, it's blocking something that could potentially be new coming your way, is what this feels like. So, whatever feels like a reunion pull with someone or some old lesson, it's like spirit is really wanting you to recognize this and really close this because you've been surrounded by a lot of false victories, a lot of momentary highs, and it's almost like someone in the collective is really kind of like seeking some sort of recognition or validation. And it's from some sort of old habit or old dynamic that really is not healthy for you right now. So, if you want the next chapter to come in and be more like the positive energy that the Six of Wands embodies, this is your moment here to really integrate this sort of negative thread of energy that we're talking about right here and to really work through this and be able to close this old cycle to bring in this newer energy that wants to come in for you. Now we have here the soulmate card, which says twin flame, friendship, romantic partner. And so with this, I asked Spirit what new energy is going to be coming in for us once we clear these blockages here. And so we have here this card. And so for some reason, I'm feeling like a split. I'm not really sure why I keep feeling this sort of shadow element that's still kind of lingering with this card here. I had to draw another one. We have the Page of Wands here. So a lot of strong fire sign energy, that I'm definitely feeling here. And, you know, this is really going to connect, I believe, with, fire signs within the collective. But it could be a fire sign that could be coming in for many of us. Now, with this soulmate card, I know a lot of you are really clinging to the idea of romance and a romantic partner, but this doesn't necessarily feel like that. For some of you, it will be, but for most of you, it feels like some sort of deep, fated encounter or deep divine partnership or connection. So, someone could be entering in once you clear this blockage, that shadow element that we were talking about earlier. And it's gonna be like a soul resonance, it's gonna be some sort of accelerated evolution of some kind. It's gonna be a connection that is more soul aligned for you, someone that is really gonna awaken a lot of joy, creativity, inspiration, someone that is really gonna be showing up for you in a very open and non-rushed kind of way. But see, there's that like heavy energy that I'm feeling where for many of you, you might be expecting this type of connection to sort of complete you in a sense. And so that's not what this type of connection is about. It's not about dependency on this other person or illusion. This is about soulmate alignment. So this is someone that really is coming in and they're really bringing a lot of structure to the relationship or to a connection with you, someone that is going to really show you what a true divine connection is really meant to be. So you'll be stepping out of a lot of this nostalgia, disillusionment type of energy, but something is going to take its place and it's going to be more refreshing, more inspiring, more playful. It's going to feel really new. It's going to feel, kind of like light on your feet in a sense. It's just going to feel really, it's going to feel like the spark of life has really kind of came back for you. And that's something that really hasn't been there for you for quite some time, is what it feels like, especially with a lot of the previous readings that we're talking about here. But this really feels beautiful. It really feels, like a fresh, young type of energy. So it may be a young person too that, you know, can come in, or it may be someone that really has a youthful appearance, or someone that really has a youthful way of looking at things, or someone that really makes you feel much younger than what you are, or just has a really new, I almost want to say naive, approach to doing things. But this person, if we're talking about a person, they're not naive, but they just bring this newfound freshness that you haven't experienced in quite some time. And it just feels really beautiful. But there is the shadow element again, where it just feels like for many of you, you might try to rush or control something within this particular dynamic. And so spirit is really urging you not to do this, to just let things flow as naturally as possible. We have two more oracle cards that came out. We have the Take the High Road card, which says, you're at an impasse with a relationship or situation. It's now time to think bigger, release desired outcomes, and take the most positive course of action. And it came out here paired with the Professional Assistance card, which says, it may be time to seek wise counsel. This could be in any life area, from legal or financial advice to more personal needs, such as counseling or therapy. So, the energy that these cards are speaking to right here is, first and foremost, we're still talking about these old cycles, or we're talking really about unfinished business. And this could be the shadow element again that we're really talking about here, where it's this need for like a desire to win, or to have a desired outcome or a specific outcome, such as validation, recognition for something, reconciliation. So it's really you not, being, in a place of acting with a higher sense of awareness, or just letting things kind of flow naturally. It really kind of connects to that longing card from earlier in the reading. So spirit is really urging you to not chase, a reunion type of energy or external validation, but, to really kind of be more grounded and look for higher ground, from within yourself. Don't force a specific outcome here. And with that professional assistance card, this is really talking about, it's time to really seek wisdom from someone who can really hold a mirror without being entangled. So, for many of you, you do have a person like that is in your energetic field that you can kind of lean to, and they really help you, balance a lot of elements to your life right now. And so, if you're really kind of stuck in a void type of energy right now, which I feel like many of you are, you're kind of like stuck like in an in-between space. You might want to seek guidance from this particular mentor or guide, whoever this person is in the 3D, that can help you really integrate a lot of these spiritual lessons that we've really been talking about in a lot of previous readings. But I feel like the shadow elements are still kind of lingering, especially in this particular reading. I know I keep saying that a lot, shadow elements, but it's like this reading is, so far really positive, but it just feels like there's so many kind of gray areas, or just kind of like what I used to call gray matter type of lower vibrational energies that are just kind of clinging right now. So it's a lot of integrating that hasn't been done yet. It's a lot of not recognizing your growth or your worth when it comes to certain connections, or just not really growing past something that may feel really unfinished to you right now. But it's really important for you to really, integrate what those particular lessons had taught you, and to move forward is what this really feels like. So it's really potent right now, this type of energy. I want to see what else comes out here. I want to see if we shift tones, or if we're still talking about this energy here. So we're going to draw some more cards here. Okay, as I'm shuffling here, we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse position. We have the Ten of Wands. So more fire sign energy. This is in the reverse position. We also have the Four of Cups upright. So I'm feeling such a very strong sense of apathy here, especially with this Four Cups. A lot of disconnection energy, spiritual discontent. So, this is really making a lot of sense here about what this shadow thread of energy is. This is like the emotional weight of the reading here. So, there's a lot of lack of clarity, a lot of truth that's been withheld or miscommunication, a lot of mental fog that's going on right now. So, really, what it is, a lot of you are really apathetic right now with not receiving certain answers on what's going on right now in this particular void space that I was talking about. It's like you're not receiving answers. It's almost like, you feel like spirit or your highest self or higher powers right now have sort of like paused the download on something. Okay, as I said that, I'm seeing the angel number 1212 right now. I see this as I'm recording this. So let's look at that angel number really quick. Okay, so I'm looking this up online, 1212. And of course, with many angel numbers, when you look up angel numbers online, it usually says, this is Spirit's way of saying this is where you are meant to be right now. This is where you're supposed to be, keep going, that type of thing. Now, I'm trying to find a little bit more information really quickly here. So, okay, here's something here. It says balance of opposites. So it says the one is leadership, new beginnings, individuality, and the two is partnership, balance, and receptivity. I hope I said that right. And it says together they represent integration, bringing masculine initiative and feminine surrender into harmony. So, so this could be something about your divine masculine, divine feminine energy, which again, I know I've said this in many readings, and this is something that Infinity from her channel Magnetize Herself, which I do recommend you follow. She has a lot of esoteric knowledge. She usually says that we all have a balance of feminine and masculine energies, and these are, spiritual archetypes or energetic dynamics. So you may resonate more with your masculine or more with your feminine. So now, what I'm really feeling, okay, because I'm an intuitive reader, what I'm really feeling here is that spirit is really saying, trust the higher order of things, even if answers are really, not clear to you or withheld right now. This is what spirit is really like guiding me to say, like, this is what it feels like. And it really feels like it's confirming that many of you in the collective have really been led into some sort of soul expansion portal, or where old cycles of longing and recognition are, starting to close and new forms of connection are being prepared for you right now. But you have to stay elevated. You have to choose wisdom. You can't descend into these old patterns. So essentially, you need to take the high road, which is like that oracle card that came out earlier here. But many of you are really lingering into this, apathetic type of energy because you're not getting the answers that you want or are seeking right now. So it's almost like you really need to trust divine timing in a sense right now, is what it feels like. Because I'm really seeing here, especially with the imagery, that, there is this recovery after like deep pain, deep rooted pain, but the healing is really, really slow. It's not like fully integrated right now. And it's almost like someone is just really holding on to unanswered questions of the past instead of allowing the ending to kind of stand as it is, if that makes sense. So you're really kind of lingering in that gray space, or that void that I was talking about. You're not really integrating those lessons, is what it feels like. So this is coming across right now as you really being apathetic and really feeling emotionally flat because, the answers are not coming the way that you want them to. So, yeah, you're really being asked to trust divine timing right now. You really are. We have the oracle card that says pause. It says you're being asked to pause before making a quick decision and moving forward. Allow yourself to step back, look at all of the possible outcomes, and make sure you're heading in the right direction before moving forward. So essentially, Spirit is really asking you to really, take your power in the present moment. That's really where your power lies, in the present moment, and to really let these lessons really integrate and dissolve naturally instead of trying to force a specific outcome. So, That's very direct right there. Okay, so we're just going to draw a few more cards because I feel like we are really kind of getting towards the end of this particular reading, and we're just going to see what else Spirit wants you to know and wants you to hear at the present time. Okay, so we have the Lovers, which again, this is a card that doesn't come out very often in these collective readings. It's reversed, and we have Temperance reversed. We also have the Queen of Swords in the upright position. So, right off the bat here with this Lovers card, this is speaking about disharmony, indecision, misalignment. So, really, what this is really speaking on is this is really confirming that reunions or reconnections with an old dynamic or old energy is definitely not where Spirit wants you to focus. Instead, Spirit is really wanting you to break free from these distorted, misaligned attachments, So this also feels like another thread of energy, though. It feels like there's something internal, like there's an internal disharmony where it could be like the heart versus the mind, ego versus spirit, that sort of energy. But this feels really like a small thread of energy, so it's not for everybody. There is definitely a strong imbalance. There's a strong sense of being impatient. There's a lot of extreme energy, that I'm feeling, a lot of instability, a lot of inability too to harmonize. And that's really coming from the self, but it's being reflected out into your 3D as well. So that's why that angel number came out, that 1212. It's like a reminder that balance must be restored right now, that if you're feeling really impatient, that's like a test that, Spirit is kind of giving you right now. And it's not to punish you, but it's just to see if you're able to work around these emotional extremes that you're having right now that's really derailing a lot of progress in your life. And what you're really looking for is a lot of clarity, a lot of discernment, a lot of truth. So it's really interesting that that Queen of Swords came out here because, this is like you trying to see situations clearly without being swayed by nostalgia, longing, temporary discomfort. It's really where Spirit wants you to be at, honestly. It wants you to be able to hold, the sort of clarity and truth and be able to have a lot of discernment, and be able to sort of be in a mastery type of energy, when it comes to clarity right now. But, for you to get there, it really is up to you. We all have free will. We all are in control of our own lives. We're the masters of our life, the way that things come out. So it's really up to you on how you want to kind of, because I'm really sensing like a crossroads of sorts, again, that sort of divergence, that void space that we were talking about. So it's really up to you on how you integrate that and how you move forward in your life, whether you want to be, kind of stuck in comfort or, something that is really misaligned for you, or if you really want to move forward and dissolve these blockages and allow something new and fresh to really come in. So it's really up to you on how you want to go about that. So with that said, we're actually going to draw two oracle cards to conclude the reading here because I feel really guided. So one from the Spiritual Messages deck and one from the Akashic Records deck. So I'm going to start shuffling here. Okay, these are very direct messages here. So we have the Victim Mindset card. It says, you feel the world is against you, and this will only cause you to attract more negative results. Stop the blame and take responsibility for your happiness. Only then will abundance start to flow. So that's very, very direct right there. And our last message here to conclude this reading, this card says, don't place limits upon yourself. You are an infinite being with unlimited potential. You can have and be anything you want. Don't hold yourself back or allow anyone else to. This is your life. Live your truth and remain heart-centered at all times. Definitely a direct message from Spirit there. So, I want to thank everyone for extending your beautiful high vibrational energy to this reading. Thank you for co creating the messages that came out here. Thank you so much for supporting me and the channel outside of the boundaries of this virtual space here. And I just want to wish everyone a happy and wonderful remainder of their week and their day. There may be another reading that comes out later on this week, but we'll see. It all depends on spirit and what spirit wants you to know, what spirit wants you to hear. I know many of you have been happy to see a few more readings come up outside of the normal weekly reading. But with that said, I am wishing you all a very blessed and wonderful day, and I hope to see you all in the next reading.